If you're struggling to make your small space look and feel like a professional studio setup, then check out these budget hacks that will transform your small space in just minutes. And all of this gear is under $500. So let's talk about it. Let's transform this space into a cinematic video setup. I'm going to be filming all these videos with my iPhone, and this is the space that I'm working with. This is a very small room in my house. You can see it's kind of like my dad's hunting space. It's kind of a catch-all. We have our printer randomly in here. It's kind of an office, but it's not really an office. It has a treadmill. It's pretty random. So this might be similar to what you're trying to work with when you go to create a video setup and you're trying to film in your apartment or your house or a really small space, and this is all you have to work with. And I'm gonna show you with all of these items that I've brought in with a budget of under $500 how you can actually transform this space. So let's dive straight in. Setup number one, I need to figure out what angle I want to do. I'm only going to be using this little lifetime chair that's already in the room. And I'm thinking for this first shot, I'm gonna use the window as my key light. So we wanna place the chair somewhere where I can use the window, maybe right here. And now let's figure out where our camera angle needs to be. So let's come over here. I'm gonna position the chair to where it's pointing into this corner of the room, and we'll see what our angle is looking like. I'm gonna bring the chair just a little bit closer. Now let's record a test clip and see what this looks like with the room lights on. All I've done is set up the tripod in this angle of the room. The first thing we need to do to make this more cinematic is to upgrade the audio. That way people actually want to listen to this video. So I'm just going to plug this in. This is the Hollyland Lark Mark II. We're going to plug in the adapter. Now we should be getting a lot higher quality audio coming from this wireless mic. This is just one that I own. They make cheaper ones. They make really budget-friendly ones. They also have a Hollyland Lark A1 specifically for iPhone and smartphone filmmaking. So find a cheap wireless mic to upgrade the quality of your video. So the next step in making this scene more cinematic is to turn off these lights in the room so we can start using the window as our key light. Turning off the lights in the room is going to be able to help you control the light so that you can control the color temperature, the direction, and get a more cinematic look out of your footage. So now, since I'm sitting in front of the window, we can use this window as a key light. And already we're starting to get a more cinematic look because we're starting to control the environment. Our next step is to kind of clean up our frame and figure out what we actually want in the background of our scene. So I'm just going to start clearing stuff out of the frame so that we can make this look a little bit nicer. So I'm just going to move some of this stuff over. And this is what we have so far. I moved some things in the background, just set things on the floor, got them out of view of the camera angle, and I turned on this lamp just to kind of add something to the background. So far, the only thing that we have really added to this scene is the microphone. But let's add a few more pieces of gear and see how much we can actually level up this scene. I'm going to exchange this regular bulb in the lamp for the Aperture B7C bulb. This is a super affordable little light that you can make any color. So let's swap that out real quick. So now, since we can control the light, I set it to more of a daylight temperature because we're wanting this to be, for our first setup, we want this to be a bright kind of daylit type environment. So for this to be a bright scene, we need to add one more light. This is the FTF Gear tube light. It's super affordable. It's only $90 on Amazon, and its color temperature is adjustable. So we can set this up in frame, see how this is looking. Going to angle it a little bit. And let's set the color temperature. It comes with this little remote so that you can adjust the color temperature. So I'm just going to match the color of this lamp so that we're making everything kind of feel like daylight. And this is our final setup for scene one. We've created a nice daylight setup that feels bright, clean, and minimal. And we're using the window as our key light. We've added a couple of lights in the background to kind of brighten up the room as a whole. We've upgraded our audio, and we have created a really nice looking setup, even in this really small room. Now, another way to level this up and make it look a little bit more cinematic is if you have this ability on your iPhone, switch to the cinematic video mode. This is going to add a little bit more of a cinematic look to your video and give you a little bit more blurry background to work with. So this is setup number 1. Let's now take this same setup but make it moody. We're gonna act like it's nighttime, so I'm going to block out this window and create a really dark, moody scene. So we've now blacked out the room. I know this is probably a super dark shot, but we have blackout curtains, so I've already made this dark, so we're gonna pretend like it's nighttime. So now we need to set up a key light for this shot. Okay, so for this setup, what I've done is stack these boxes right here, and then I've put the B7 bulb inside this lamp to act as the key light. I swapped the tube light to the opposite side so that it's diagonal from the key light. I moved the table out of the way so that we could have more of a clean shot into the corner and we wouldn't have all of that white from the table reflecting the light, so that we could have a moodier setup. Now I'm going to add in this small rig flashlight to cast a design on this blank wall over here. So I'm just going to literally prop it on this table, which is right outside of frame, and have it display a shape on that wall. So we have the camera in the same position, but this is our moody setup. This is replicating if it was nighttime, there was no light coming in from the window. Instead, I've stacked these boxes, put this lamp on top to act as my key light. I swapped the tube light to the opposite side, and I'm casting a little bit of light on this other wall to kind of add some texture to the scene. So this is setup number 2. We transformed it into a more moody looking setup. And this is just another variation where we've moved the tube light over a little bit and also dimmed it down just a little. And you could easily transform this setup into a desk setup. So let's do that as our 3rd and final setup. So I've placed the white table here as our quote desk. Now I've just got to put the lamp here so that it's closer to us as the key light. I'm going to put our flashlight on this little bitty tripod. I'm going to place one of our boxes right here behind our chair so that we can prop our flashlight on it to shine this design on the background. And here you have our final desk setup for this space. You can see how all of these different little budget pieces of gear make such a huge difference in making your video look cinematic. If you compare this to our first shot that we took in this room, you can see what a huge difference it makes to place the gear, to have the gear that you can control the environment, control how it looks, what the color is, what the color temperature is. And even if you are having to film at night, you're stuck in a tiny home office, a room that's cluttered, the junk room, the random room in your house, you can still make that look really nice if you use these budget pieces of gear and you use some basic lighting principles.